Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, and we are live. Today we have Zamir Kazi, CEO of Berkshire Property Holdings. And I did not prepare for this because there it is. Zamir, he also owns 2,000 apartment units with an additional 500 units under contract throughout the U.S. Zamir, thank you very much for showing up on the show today. How you doing?
Doing great, Gabe. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to finally be on the show. Doing great.
Absolutely. To get us started, I always start with tell us who you are, where you're from, and how you got started in real estate in the first place.
Sure. So I'm Zamir Kazi, CEO of Berkshire Property Holdings. As Gabe mentioned, we have about 2,000 units that we own currently, another 500 under contract, a little bit over $200 million assets under management. I'm from Florida, Orlando, Florida, with the mouse, and grew up there, pretty much born and raised. Moved to Los Angeles 5 years ago. Never looking back. Love it out here. Started in real estate back in 2011, kind of on accident. Didn't really know what I was doing. The market was, ripe for the taking. Then ended up buying a $20,000 duplex in Lakeland, Florida. Didn't know anything about real estate. Yeah, it was a foreclosure. Didn't know anything about real estate. I felt like the vendors were being a little disingenuous and trying to charge us a little bit more than they were supposed to. So I went on YouTube and learned how to change a thermostat and a water heater myself. Went down to Home Depot, and the guys over there taught me everything, how to renovate everything on the inside. I made cabinets. I mean, you name it. Ended up doing it myself. Took a little bit too long, but learned a lot along the way and fixed that up, rehabbed it, rented it out, and then bought the one next door. And then, next thing you know, we were moving up from $20,000 duplexes to $60 million deals over the course of 9 years. So it's been a long road. Learned a lot. Been a bunch of bumps in the road, but I love it. Kind of fell in, and we were planning on it being a passive income type deal for us, and it turned into a full-time job. So.
I love it. No, I hear that story, many times on this podcast, that they had nothing, they didn't know what real estate was, getting into it. They just bought one house, and then it turned into, 2,000 units later. It's a full-time gig, and you're loving every step of the way. So glad you fell into it. Glad you're here with us today. So I just kind of want to go back to your story. It's awesome. You started in Florida, and you bought a duplex for $20,000. That was foreclosure. Did you go to the auction steps, or?
Foreclosure, no. It was just an REO. Came through a broker who's one of my best friends growing up, and he's like, "Hey, man, I think this is a really good deal. You should buy this." I was like, "Well, I don't know anything about real estate." And he's like, "Yeah, but I think you'll do well. Where are you going to find a $20,000 duplex?" I was like, "You're right." So then we bought it.
What market was that in?
Lakeland, Florida. It's a small town. It's a small citrus town in between Tampa and Orlando.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's good. It's kind of squished between two large MSAs. You kind of got that bolstered up. And do you still own that today, or is it? Have you sold that off?
Thank God we sold it. Yeah, we got rid of it. It was a management nightmare. But we probably sold it 3 years after we bought it. Um,
Nice. Very nice. Awesome. I mean, since then you've gone, one duplex and then another, the one next door. It sounds like you just bought that right up. And at that point, we fast forward to today where you have soon to be 2,500 units. There's a huge gap there though. So kind of take us, how did the development start? We have a lot of people listening and watching who are just getting started. They just bought their first single family, their first duplex, and they have their goal on that 2,000, 1,000 plus units. So kind of tell us the progression for your own company.
Yeah, so I think when we first started, this is probably something that I would have done differently. But we started off, bought the $20,000 duplex cash, right? Renovated it, increased value, and then proceeded to do a refinance. Pulled out cash from that property, and then took that cash and started buying other properties, right? And did the same thing. So we buy the next place cash, renovated it, refinanced it, took that money, bought the one next door to that, or another place, another duplex or quadplex, and just kind of kept doing that, right? As we increased value, we refinanced and used leverage to our advantage. But I think one thing that everyone could do is, as they buy their properties, if they can afford to do so, is take your cash flows from that property, save it, and then use it as a down payment to buy another one. Now I understand a lot of people probably can't do that, but if you can, it's an easy way to jumpstart your journey and get to where you want to be over the future. And I think beyond that is keep a solid track record, right? And keep your numbers on what you've been able to do, what your returns have been. And if you can document that properly, it's easy to go out and raise money from third parties, whether it be friends and families or syndicate deals or whatnot.
Awesome. I love it. So you're the first person that's been on who's suggested not doing the BRRRR and instead just taking on the cash flow. I like that idea. I think it makes sense, to an extent. And so, in what situation do you just would you suggest people doing that across the board, or it sounds like, I mean, BRRRR is a very popular strategy these days, but when you do that, you have a high mortgage. Again, you have this payment that you need to be covering, and so your cash flow is much less. So kind of tell us why do you think one is better than the other?
So I think we had the flexibility of doing so because I had a job at the same time as investing. So the cash flow coming from the properties wasn't as important to me because I still had a primary source of income. So now if this is your primary source of income, then limiting your cash flows could be a problem, and you may need to take a different step. But for us, that was the right way moving forward.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And then again, you also mentioned you need to measure your KPI, measure the indicators that are actually moving you forward. So when you guys are doing that, which ones are you tracking? Year over year, month over month.
Look, I think as far as metrics go, for us, NOI is the biggest metric. And then our vacancies, occupancy, as far as measured, renovations go. But I think the biggest is NOI, because you want to make sure your income is greater than your expense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it sounds like you guys have done quite a few deals. I think it was 36 that I read on that sheet. So it means, you've had plenty of deals come your way. So what is the best way that you guys have found to generate leads? Do you guys do off-market marketing? Do you mostly go through brokers? What's the way that you guys use?
Finding deals is really hard these days. So we get them as any way we can get them. So whether that's through broker relationships, we have a team of acquisitions guys that we bring in the markets that we're looking for, because they tend to have better relationships in that market. But then on top of that, we personally do a lot of marketing direct to operators and owners, and just having normal conversation. Something like as simple as during the pandemic, reaching out and just saying, hey, how are you guys doing? How's your portfolio doing? How are you? What steps are you taking to get through this? And I think that starts a dialogue. And then while you're asking these types of questions, maybe they have something that's struggling or they want to sell, and we're able to get some off-market transaction. So it's a mixture of off-market and broker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of want to echo that for everybody, for anybody listening is it's amazing how many times, you start building a relationship with the seller. I mean, you just keep tabs with them. They may not be ready at that moment, but maybe a year down the road, they're ready. And then they also are ready to sell 2 additional properties that you had no idea about. So building those relationships with the seller on top of the brokers is, it's surprising what can actually come out of the woodwork there.
Yeah, obviously you'd much rather do deals directly with the seller versus than going through a marketed deal. So yeah, just I think real estate's a relationship business. So the more you can keep in contact with people, the better.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, moving on a little bit from your guys' individual business right now. I mean, I guess it still relates, but there's a lot of talk about which markets are going to be working going into the future. With people doing a lot more work from home, et cetera. What do you see when it comes to markets that, hot markets, things that, where are you guys looking to put your dollars coming up into the future?
We like a lot of secondary markets. I think especially now, I feel like places like San Francisco are going to probably soften where a lot of these guys don't have to be in Silicon Valley and you can work from anywhere. So, when we buy properties, we're demographic driven. So as long as there's population growth, rent growth, income growth, job growth, those are all markets that we like. So if people are moving in, to a certain state or a city from other places and all throughout the country, we tap into why that is, right? Is it and are these fun places to live? What besides, maybe jobs, what's another reason why people would want to live in these places? And if there are other metrics that play into that, then those are all markets that we like. But currently we're invested in, Florida, Central and North Florida, Atlanta. I have a bunch of stuff in Atlanta. We have a bunch of stuff in Dallas, and Texas, throughout Texas as well. But we like the Carolinas. We like Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico.
Sunbelt.
Sunbelt. We're Sunbelt guys.
I love it. Although it sounds like you guys are having a little bit of a rough go at it right now down with, especially in Florida. It sounds like things are getting kind of tough, but I'm sure you'll come out the other side of that. Okay. So moving on one more time, I love hearing experiences from investors. I mean, you've had plenty of experience, so I'm sure you have some good stories. Take us to one of the moments, one of the deals maybe where things just kind of came out of the woodwork and caught you by surprise. And what was the big lesson that you learned from that one?
So, I guess it's kind of hard to pinpoint one exact moment. I'll tell you, there was a deal. This is probably one of the worst, I guess, experiences that I had now, considering the market that we're in. This is probably back in 2015. There was a deal. This is when hard money wasn't even a thing. Putting down a non-refundable deposit was an afterthought. And I had a deal under contract. Great deal. It would have been our biggest deal at the time. It was an $8 million deal. And we were going through the DD process, and the lender wanted a bunch of financials, and the seller's like, look, this is costing me a lot of money out of pocket. I need you to give me 10 grand non-refundable. I was like, there's no way I'm giving you $10,000 non-refundable. This is insane. And so I didn't do it. I pulled out, right? And then the guy after me came and bought the deal, gave this guy non-refundable money. And then probably 6 months after, he ended up refinancing at $13 million from the $8 million purchase price. It was a $5 million hit that my reluctance to give up 10 grand cost me $5 million. So now since then, we're the deal we're under contract. I put $1 million hard, non-refundable, and now looking back, it's like shit. I'm giving $1 million now, and 10 grand was hard to swallow back then, and I wish I would have. So
hindsight is 2020, though, right? Awesome. So tell us, real estate's a roller coaster. You got your ups, you got your downs. That was a rough experience that you went through, but you got the lesson on the other side of that one. What is it that brings you up every day? Like what gets you going about real estate? What do you still love about it?
It's something that it's never the same. Every deal is so different, and you learn something new on every deal. I've done over 30 deals. Every deal has been extremely different from the rest. And you just learn something new from every single deal you do. And you think you know it all until the next deal comes along and something new comes up and you're like, I've never dealt with this before. And I think that's just something that I really love about this industry, is that it's never a dull moment, and it's always a learning experience, and it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, absolutely. I always feel like I know what I'm doing when I go into a deal, and then I'm like, oh crap, I don't know anything. I don't feel like a newbie again. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a learning experience, that's for sure. Okay, going into the end of the show here, we do try to keep these around 20 to 30 minutes. So we're gonna go into some quick questions. The first one being, you've been in this for, let's see, you started 2011, so 9 years now. If you could go back to Zamir, who just bought that duplex out there in Florida, and give him one piece of advice going forward in real estate, what would that be?
Back then, with it being 2011, I would have said, hey, buy as much stuff as you can and buy everything, because at that point in time, you could have closed your eyes and pointed your finger on a map, and whatever you bought was going to appreciate and do really well. So, I think the one thing I would have done a little bit differently is try to scale or use leverage a little bit differently, where we were buying deals all cash and then refinancing. I think at that time, that $20,000 that I put down all cash, I could have used leverage and bought $100,000 building or property, and again, doing bigger deals. I think, it's easy. It's just as hard or easy to do a bigger deal as it is a small deal. So if you can, I would do bigger deals than smaller ones.
Yeah, I love it. So leverage up as quickly as you can while still being reasonable and risk conscious.
Yeah. Don't over lever.
Yep. Okay, next one. We all get our information from some places. A lot of times it's YouTube. A lot of times the internet. Most of the times it's books, though. So if you could give 2 book recommendations, one for business real estate and then one for just any book whatsoever that you love, what would those be?
So there's a book on investing from Bigger Pockets that was probably the first real estate investment book that I read. I think it's Brandon Turner wrote that book. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a Bigger Pockets book. It helped me a lot as far as just learning how to invest in real estate and all the different avenues, whether it's wholesaling or buying direct or syndicating deals. I think there's a lot of good information on that book. But that's one on the real estate side. I think 2, just in general, I think for me, a book that I really love is called Shoe Dogs by Phil Knight. It's a memoir by Phil Knight, who was the founder of Nike. Just tells a great story about kid just coming from nothing and building this company. And I guess someone really didn't know or have a plan on what to do, but just kind of figured it out along the way. And I think, that's something I can relate to, where we never in our wildest dreams would have imagined that we would be at 2,000 units today. And we would take on projects that I had no idea how I would close. But we take them on and we just somehow figure it out. So it's something I can definitely relate to.
Awesome. I love that. I'll have to check that one out. Shoe Dogs by Phil Knight. And I think the Brandon Turner one you were talking about was, I think it's called The Book on Investing in Real Estate with No or Low Money Down. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. That's
nice.
The first book I read in real estate.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good job, Brandon, if you're listening to this. You also, real quick, you mentioned wholesaling. How many were you guys in wholesaling in the beginning, or did you go straight to rentals?
No, we didn't do any wholesaling. I did. So I used some of the wholesaling tactics to generate deals for myself individually. Like at one point I did buying single family homes, and we did a bunch of yellow letters, and I got the tactics and the direct marketing from the book, but didn't do any wholesaling.
Gotcha. Okay. It seems like the entry fee for investors these days to do a wholesale and then get the fee for $5,000. Everybody I talked to, for some reason, their first wholesale was $5,000, and then even me, it was $5,000. I don't know what the deal is. Awesome. So, first of all, I really appreciate having you on, Zamir. Thank you very much for coming here, and I'm sure everybody listening and watching, they enjoyed it as well. So, you've given us a lot of wisdom. So if someone were to bring you anything, be it a lead on a multifamily deal, anything like that, what would you want to receive?
Look, we're looking for any multifamily deals, value add throughout the Southeast or Southern Belt states, 150 units plus. If anyone has anything out there, we're always looking to buy, and that'd be the best gift ever.
Awesome. And if somebody did want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to do that?
You can find my contact info at our website, which is www.berkshirepropertyholdings.com. Or on LinkedIn, Zamir Kazi is my email, my LinkedIn handle.
There you go. So if you want to get in contact with Zamir, Berkshire Property Holdings, and then I will also put his LinkedIn URL in the show notes so you can click through there to get in contact with him. So again, Zamir, thank you very much for hopping on here. For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for joining us on this journey. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family. And we look forward to seeing everybody on the next episode.
Thanks a lot, Gabe. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.